All right, boys, it's Halloween, so of course the time-honored tradition of reading scary stories, and this is it's a traditional one. I'm sure we've all seen it. You know, every year it gets sent around like chainmail, and every time I got to read it, and it spooks me every time. So, boys, listeners, strap in for this one.
Here we go.
Boo!
Whoa,
Sorry, did I scare you?
a little bit.
What's up, girl? It's Cocktober,
Oh,
and if you're getting this, it means you're a Halloween hoe. You're a Halloween hoe.
oh no.
Every year in Cocktober, the Jacko slut comes to life, coming to harvest his hoes for Thotoween.
Ooh.
Send this to 10 other Halloween hoes, or else you get a trick.
What's that?
Trick.
If you get 4 back, you're a Thotoween treat. If you get 6 back, you're a slutty witch bitch.
Ooh.
But if you get all 10 back, you're the spookiest slut on the block.
Oh.
But if you don't send this to 10 other thots, you will get no dick this Cocktober.
No. No.
Sorry, we should have put a trigger warning at the start there. I'm sorry for our listeners if you're now quaking in your boots. That is one of the spookiest things I've heard
Not
in my
even
life.
less. None.
You get
0.
So please, listeners, now that you've heard this, you must transcribe that and you have to send it to 10 other hoes, or else you too will also be getting no dick this Cocktober. Amen.
Wow, excellent. All right, Kush, please.
Incredibly spooky, that one. All I could think was, in Candyman, you say his name 3 times in the mirror, just saying slut, slut, slut in the mirror 3 times. That's all I could think of. But moving on to a spooky story, this was a creepypasta that has lasted an extremely long time. Have you guys ever heard of the Russian sleep experiment?
No.
Well, this was sent from a good friend of ours. His name is Dimitri.
Dimitri.
It's been a long time.
It's been much a long time.
How's he doing in jail, by the way?
He's not in jail. He broke out.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Broke out of the gulag.
Dimitri on the run.
He's got a few. The reason why he got into jail, by the way, he stole 20 of the vaccinations, the Sputnik vaccinations. And he used it all on himself. So he's good. But he gave me this story and he said, I consider this to be one of the scariest stories ever. And he wanted me to read it out to you. So let me set the tone. It's late 1940s. There are 5 political prisoners of Russia that have been deemed enemy of the state. There's now a facility, a chamber, what they call. And in that chamber, all you have are books, just a bookshelf, around 10 books, a cot to sleep in, running water, and a toilet. There's also enough dried food to last all 5 prisoners only for a month. That's it. So the experiment begins. And the experiment is to keep these 5 prisoners alive for 15 days using an experimental gas stimulant. So they're going to be basically awake for 15 days, non-stop. The first 5 days, as you would assume, are resilience and strength, common attributes of the war. The subjects, they hardly complained, being provided a false promise of release in 30 days. The conversations were all monitored, by the way. There's a microphone inside and you can hear everything. First few days gave us no results, but then the 4th day came. 4th day, all 5 started to open up, talk about their traumas, the childhood horrors, basically what happened in their past. The 5th day came, and then came anger. The subjects started to demonstrate severe paranoia. The subjects began to stop talking to one another. They only whispered into the microphones in the chamber. So all they did was they all had a microphone and they were all whispering to one another, not talking to each other at all. Now, they all basically unearthed secrets of one another in the 6th day. They were just telling secrets for each other so maybe they could get alive. False promise, secrets of the state. This happened for a few more days and then day 9 comes. This is where the first subject actually starts screaming. He screams non-stop. For 3 hours, he continues to scream until his vocal cords burst. So they break and he falls down and dies. The first subject.
1 down.
Fuck me.
The question was, how did the other 4 react to such a scene? 2 began whispering back into the microphones as they did normally. The second out of the 2 began to scream as well within 1 hour. He joined in the destruction of the vocal cords as well, but he survived. He was very much alive, but he couldn't talk. The other 2, they tore the bookshelf apart, ripped out all the pages, smeared each page with their own feces, and pasted them over the portholes present in the chamber. So now everything was covered. They couldn't even see what's inside. And then came silence. No screaming, no words spoken, just complete silence. No microphone whispering, and 3 days passed such as this. Utter silence, absolutely nothing. So the testers, they decided what to do, and they were like, you know what? We're going to open the chamber just to test the microphones. It's been 3 days of silence. We want some action. This is an experiment. So they say, we are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door or you will be shot. Seconds passed, then came a voice. We no longer want to be freed. Debate then breaks out, but consensus emerges. They're going to open the door. They're going to open all the doors and they're going to make sure that they can get these 4 out alive, sorry. So here comes the 15th day. The gas is cleared and they open the door. No voices, no screams, nothing, but only begging to turn the gas back on. The soldier opens the door and he stands absolutely still. What he sees inside is far worse than death, not even life. The food rations haven't been touched at all. There are chunks of dead human meat from the dead subject stuffed into the drain of the chamber, blocking the drain and only allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. No one knew why it was 4 inches. It was a measurement that they took and they left it as 4 inches. All 4 surviving subjects had large portions of their muscle and skin torn away. The organs below the ribcage had been removed, where one could see the lungs through the ribcage. All blood vessels remained intact, but they'd been taken out and laid on the floor. So they're alive, barely breathing, basically. But one would assume they shouldn't be alive, but they are.
They pull their blood vessels out.
Pull their blood vessels out and they're still alive, all on the floor.
Okay.
A fight ensues between the soldiers and the subjects, showing a surprising amount of strength, actually, and unprecedented resistance to drugs and sedatives, basically around 10 injections, and they still survive. They were alive despite these lethal injuries, and in this fight, 1 subject has also died, so you're left with 3. Subjects are taken away, prepared to return to the gas chamber. They need to continue the experiment and figure out what has occurred. One of them passed away due to falling asleep. Just passed away because of sleep, so there's only 2 subjects left now. The military commander orders the last researcher, to be in the room with the last subject prior to the experiment. They're going to test out exactly what goes wrong so they can get out. There were other soldiers, but one of them panics and shoots one of the subjects. So there's now one subject and a few researchers left. The researcher also panics. Something goes on between all of them, and basically the researcher shoots everyone but the subject. So it's now just the researcher and the subject. The researcher says, I will not be locked in a room with you. He shouts, what are you? The subject rises and he says, have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment. We are what you hide from your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralyze when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researcher pauses. He's not going to take any chances. He unloads the clip, the subject dying, not without one last phrase. So nearly free.
Chills.
Dimitri sent that story.
Dimitri.
I don't know how he's going. Like I said, he got out of jail, but he sent me that. I promised I would read him. But
Wait, is that a true story?
Is that true? Yeah.
It's a creepypasta, so no.
Oh, I thought the entire time it was real.
It sounds real, doesn't it? Like it could have happened. Could have absolutely happened.
I swear I've heard something similar of like the Russians doing like just weird experiments on like the people.
It's just a very creepy story when you read it. I mean, I would not want to read that story alone at night. Doesn't sound like a fun read at all.